Good morning, baseball way lifers. How you all doing? Who's ready to rock and roll on Monday? I know Monday's a rough day for everybody, but we got to deal with it. But the good news is it's baseball season. So there's always baseball to talk about, even on Mondays. And today is no exception. What a weekend of baseball. Was it not? Come on. Who didn't enjoy this week of baseball? It was fantastic. Well, before we go further into that, I just want to make a few public announcements here regarding this YouTube cast and a few other things. A lot of you have said you don't know when the YouTube cast is coming up, so I'm going to vow starting tomorrow, and you'll see it scheduled every day at 8 a.m. that you guys can now hop on board at 8 o'clock. I know a lot of you have busy lives or what have you, and you can always watch these on replay. And all you have to do there is subscribe to the YouTube cast, Baseball Way of Life below, subscribe, and you'll see all the YouTube casts come up in chronological order, what we do there. Sometimes I put other miscellaneous baseball stuff like my trips to Citi Field and everything on there. So please do not hesitate to go ahead and subscribe. And we're going to try and do these 8 o'clock. It's going to be me just rambling. There's Joey Buckholt saying hi. Hi, Joey. How you doing? How are things in the utopian baseball universe? But like I said, please, if maybe even 8:30, I'm not sure, but you'll see every day I'll have it posted ahead of time, 8:15, 8 o'clock, 8:30, whatever it is, but you'll know coming in. And that way, if you ever want to bitch to me about what I'm saying or what's going on in the group or just talk baseball in general, I'll be there for you. Like I said, the feedback so far has been good. And if you ever want to reach out to me, you can always message me on Facebook. And if you haven't joined the group and just happen to be watching this on YouTube or Twitter, wherever we are, we're all over the board here. We're in the baseball group, Baseball Way of Life simulcasting now, et cetera, et cetera. So if you want to do that, please subscribe to the group. If you're a Facebook person, it's Baseball Way of Life. We'd be glad to have you. And like I said, if no one's participating, that's fine. I'll just ramble on about the 5 or 7 hot topics of the day in baseball. But the last few days, we've had people hop on board, and they've participated, and it's been fun. And they've been leaving questions, comments, and I've been responding, and it's been cool. Joey says he went on at 8 a.m. in the Utopian Cafe. Joey, I have to ask you a question. If I schedule this at 8 o'clock, is that going to interfere with your Utopian Cafe? Because I could push it back. I could push it back because we need to promote your Utopian Cafe too. I can push it back to 8:30, 8:15. I don't want to have the conflict here because I know it's a tough choice for you people because you put on a good show yourself. So just let me know. And if you haven't, folks, if you haven't checked out Joey Utopian Baseball Cafe, he's on Facebook. He does at least multiple updates a day on what's going on in his world, in the utopian world. His goes in 10 minutes. Mine goes, you're saying yours goes 10 minutes long. I got it. Okay, you know what? In respect to Joey and all he does, we're going to do this at 8:15 every morning, okay? That's the kind of guy I am, and I want you to watch Joey too. So you can get a double dose. You can get Joey, what's going on in the Utopian Cafe, and then you can hear me just ramble on after that. So it's going to be 8:15 in the mornings, folks, okay? And what else is going on? You're saying what's going on? Like Marvin Gaye, what's going on? Well, you know what? The trade deadline's coming around. Now, I don't know who your team is, but this is always a fun time of year, and we're going to be seeing who is going to be traded and who's not going to be traded, what team's going to be wheeling, and what teams are going to be dealing. And, Joey, I want to reach out to you, too. We've always been promising to do a simulcast together here. If you want, we can arrange something sometime in the very near future. If you just want to get back to me, we can do it right after your Utopian Cafe. But let me know. Like I said, I haven't had any guests pop on yet, but I'm willing and able. So if I fuck up, I fuck up. Can I get, wait, if I say that word on Facebook, can I get banned? I've been blackballed a few times on Facebook already. But if I get fudged up for whatever reason, On my first couple, you'll have to understand. But I'd love to have guests on this show too. I know we have, like I said, we're almost 10,000 strong. And you can see, I was so excited to do this, I didn't even shower this morning. And you can see I got the little alfalfa thing going on. So, whatever. And Joey, yes, I would like to be on your Utopian Cafe. Send me an invite. We can do it tomorrow, Wednesday, whenever. Just let me know, and I'll just postpone this till later on in the day or once we're done with you. Okay? You're a good conversationalist. You have good interviewing skills, and I'd be glad to come on. But anywho, but that's just it basically. And I'm just rambling on here. And what I want to do is basically also let you know that we have a Facebook group, New York Mets Baseball Way of Life. If you're not a member of that, please join. And you can also, I do a podcast on there. I always post up the link in both baseball groups, so you can check that out. The Mets are a passion of mine, and that's one thing I always enjoy talking about is the Metropolitans. And it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I really put my heart and soul into that. And like I said, I'm a baseball fan first and foremost. I can't burn myself on the Mets every day, but my first priority is the Mets. But I love baseball, period. Even when the Mets lose, I love baseball. So we were talking about like what's going on with the trade deadline and everything. A lot of teams are going to be buyers. A lot of teams are going to be sellers. And I guess this is where teams actually come back and figure out what they're doing, where they're headed. And it's going to be fun to see what happens. The team I told you, I like the White Sox in the beginning of the year. If you watch these YouTube casts, and they were my choice right behind the Yankees. I had the Yankees and Dodgers going all the way. And who knows? The Yankees could still do it. I doubt it. And one of the reasons why I doubt it is just due to the fact that I think they're too far behind, too many teams. And I actually think Toronto's a better ball club than the Yankees. Don't shoot me, Yankee fans. That's just my honest opinion. I think the Toronto Blue Jays are going to be a force to be reckoned with. They're coming back to their home field, and it would not surprise me. People say the Yankees could still win the division. Well, I think the team that you got to watch out for winning that division is the Toronto Blue Jays. And you kind of saw what I was talking about all season where I was doubting Boston. Again, I predicted them to win the 80, 85 games during the season, but their pitching is a gas can. That can go off at any time. I mean, Rodriguez is coming back. Sale is coming back. But even with those guys healthy, the pitching for Boston has always been a question mark. And I do show some concern over them. Like I said, this isn't me being subjective. This is me being objective. Well, I guess it is subjective, but I'm not putting any biases. I call them as I see them. And like I said, you never, ever count out the Tampa Bay Rays. They're tough, and they always give the Yankees a handful, too. Can the Yankees win the division? Yes. Will they be buyers? I think yes. The Yankees at this point need to be buyers, and it's just going to be that way. It's just going to be that way. The only team that's not going to be buyers is Baltimore. And it'll be interesting to see what Baltimore does. Hey, maybe even Matt Harvey's up for sale. Who knows? Would they trade Trey Mancini, John Means, Cedric Mullins? I think so if they get a big haul in return. But they have other players there that, they can give up. But everyone in that division, I think, is going to be a buyer. So if you're looking at the American League East, it's going to be buyer central. Now, as far as the Central's concerned, the only team I could see possibly being a buyer is the White Sox, but they've had so many, like they have Jimenez and Robert coming back from injuries. And who knows? I mean, I think that division, that's the one division that's actually lock, stock, and barrel done. I can't see any team knocking out the White Sox. But the team I want to watch out for as far as like what's going to go on as far as transactions are concerned is Twins. There's just too much talent on that Twin team. But will they sell them? I think they can get Nelson Cruz could be the missing piece for any American League team. just with his bat, what he's doing at the age of 40 plus is just phenomenal. The way he's hitting the ball. And Hansel Robles is also going to be a free agent at the end of the year. So you got two free agents. They could basically be rental pickups. So I don't think at this point, due to Nelson Cruz's age, the Twins want to make a long-term commitment to him. So we shall see. Now, the other trade chip that's going out there is Jose Berrios. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with him. I think he's a good number 2 or 3 starter for any team, and we'll have to see what happens with Jose. But I'd like to see him on the Mets, especially now with the deGrom situation. You can have enough. But the one thing I always say when it comes to the trade deadline is you don't want to give away your top prospects, and unless you're guaranteed by making a trade to get into at least the World Series. And I don't know about the Mets at this point. There's a lot of talent on that team, but it just doesn't seem to be meshing at the right time. But who knows what's going to happen in the last 2 months. And that's why it's such a good thing that this trade deadline is now at the end of July, because it really does give teams time to contemplate. I remember in the old days, it'd be June 15th, and that was never really a good thing. But we'll see. And as far as the Central's concerned, who else is a seller? Who else? It's tough to say with the Indians and the Royals. I think the Royals are too far out to be true buyers, but I don't think they're going to be true sellers either, because they have a lot of young talent. And they remind me of the Mariners, although I think the Mariners' chances in the next couple of years are a little bit better than the Twins. But it'll be interesting. See what happens there. And I don't know. Kansas City, next couple of years, they're going to be players, I think. They just do the right thing. They don't panic. Now, the Indians, I think they'll be willing to listen to proposals for their ball clubs. Cesar Hernandez may be the biggest target out there. And they're always looking to add to their starting pitching depth. So we'll see what happens there. And the Tigers, we'll see what happens, because they got some really good prospects coming up. But who knows what's going to happen. A.J. Hinch, I think, is the perfect manager for that ball club. And I think they're going to want to need players to actually help the younger players along the way. So Jonathan Shoup is one player that they may be talking about as far as dealing before he reaches free agency. But I think the Tiger fans have waited so long that you got to try and keep improving and not wheeling and dealing. But that's just my opinion. I know we got some Tiger fans out there. Would love to hear from them about what they have to say. And the AL West, AL West reminds me of the AL East. I think the only team that's really going to be a seller is the Rangers. And their 2 pitchers, Kyle Gibson and Ian Kennedy, could be the ones going. We shall see on that. Gibson looks like the prize piece, because timing is everything with these deals. And right now he's having the best year of his career. And I hate to say it, but it's going to be hard for him to recapture that down the line. But this is his year. He has a 2.29 ERA, 1.07 WHIP, and a 6-1 record in 17 starts. There are many teams in need of pitching. And Ian Kennedy's still around. And he's been doing okay. He's got a 2.67 ERA and 16 saves and 16 tries. Now, how many pitchers can actually say that? So it's going to be fun. What they do. And, of course, the wild card is Joey Gallo. What do they do with Joey Gallo? Do they extend him or do they trade him? Joey Gallo's got a big home run bat, but is he worth it, because he has some liabilities defensively? Do they go ahead and do it? Do they go ahead and keep it Joey Gallo? We shall see. Now, how about the National League East? I think the 2 teams that are going to be buyers are the Nationals and the Mets. The Nationals have a very good core. Max Scherzer was talking about being traded. You got to keep a Max Scherzer. I think there's enough talent on that team to make a run, and they'll get deeper outings from John Lester and everybody else. So depending on how quickly Kyle Schwarber recovers, another outfielder could help the Nationals. I mean, I really do believe the Nationals they're sort of like the Giants, where if these players live up to their potential, they can do things, but we'll see what happens there. Uh, what else is going on, you say? With the Mets? Well, I think the Mets are definitely buyers. Without a doubt, the Mets are going to be in it to win it. I think it's just the whole Steve Cohen thing. Whoa, 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 little feedback, little feedback. The whole Steve Cohen uh, situation, he's going to go out there because he knows that this is his time. It's his rookie year as an owner, and he wants to make a splash. And it would not surprise me if Chris Bryant was actually aboard, and we'll see what happens there. But Chris Bryant would be the ideal player for the Mets because, again, looks like the Mets are very into platoon players who can play multiple positions. And we see this year what Chris Bryant can do. Now, of course, let's not panic because Carrasco's coming back and maybe Syndergaard in September as far as the pitching's concerned. But the Jacob deGrom issue has to be a big question mark for them. And we'll just have to see what happens there. Now, would they be willing to deal with prospects Ronnie Mauricio and Mark Vientos? Now, Mauricio is the type of guy that keeps getting better and better as far as power hitting. So I don't know what their plans are for him, but it looks like they even have him in mind for like a different position at this point, maybe third base, because they're playing. That's just for your hardcore Met fans, but they're thinking about putting Beatty out in left field. They've been giving him some time out there, so we'll see. Now the Phillies are always a question mark. Dave Dombrowski always goes for it. I think we all realize that. But will Dave Dombrowski make the big move? It's hard to say. I mean, they've basically been a 500 ball club, but their bullpen's been horrendous. So they keep trying to upgrade the bullpen. It hasn't been working out for them. You got to admit, Zach Wheeler was the steal of a free agent for them. But the thing that hurts the Phillies is, now I'm not a minor league expert, but they don't have a great minor league system. It's not that deep at this point. So they really can't afford to mortgage a future by trading their top talent in the minor leagues. I think they would have to have a more definitive chance of making the playoffs and making the splash, but we'll see what happens there. Now, how about the Central? The buyers, Captain Obvious says it's the Reds and the Brewers, but I don't know about the Reds per se, because I don't think they want to empty their farm system at all. Now, they've climbed back into contention while winning 9 of 11 and 13 of 19 ahead of the All-Star break before stumbling a bit over the weekend against the Brewers. And regaining their momentum could make ownership more willing to add to the payroll. But the Reds feel like the return of Michael Lorenzen and Lucas Smith and eventually Nick Senzel will be boost enough for them. And I think they're right. But the Brewers, they may be the ones. I think the Brewers are really players at this point. And the Brewers may actually want to go ahead and do something to make an impact. We already saw them do it this year, trading for Willie Adames and reliever Trevor Richards on May 21st. And then they flipped Richards to the Blue Jays to fill a hole at first base and Rowdy Tellez on July 6th. And they've made minor trades for players like Hunter Strickland along the way. But Adames, let's face it, he's been the Brewers' catalyst. And he's been fueling a hot streak that pushed the Brewers up to 4 games up on the rest of the National League Central field. And what they've been doing is fantastic. And David Stearns, he's a coveted GM. Don't kid yourself. He's a dandy. The Mets were trying to get him, and the Brewers wouldn't even grant the Mets permission. So we're going to see what happens there. The smart money is a bullpen ad. The Brewers are always big on the bullpen. 2017, they went for Swarzak and Jeffries. 2018, they went for Joaquin Soria. In 2019, they went for Drew Pomeranz. Now, what the Cardinals going to do? By the way, sip of coffee here. That's me, Jethro. The Cardinals are potential buyers. The Cardinals are 8.5 back at the National League Central leading Brewers, and they find themselves at a fascinating inflection point. They played some anemic baseball in June, and they went from first place to 4th place. Well, you know what I always say, if you fall that hard, you can always bounce back that quick. But can they with the Brewers, though? With Brewers in their pitching, we'll see. Now, good news for the Cardinals is Flaherty and Mikolas are expected to return at some point in August. And if the Cardinals could possibly add another starting pitcher, they currently have 5 on the IL. So if they can get another starting pitcher there, that would be great. And like I said, the Cardinals are always players. You're not going to ever see the Cardinals quitting, but we're going to see. We're going to see. They may actually try and dump a few players like Andrew Miller, Kim out of the bullpen. But I think the Cardinals always are trying to win, and we'll see what happens there. Let's not forget the Cubs. They're everybody's target this year. Cubs are going to be calling, and a lot of teams are going to be knocking. Now, the funny thing is, the Cubs finished off the Dodgers with a combined no-hitter on June 24th, and they were on top of the NL Central. So we're talking less than a month ago. They were on top of the NL Central. And then the next 11 games, all hell broke loose in a bad way for the Cubs. They lost 11 games in a row and spiraled down the standings as the Brewers got hot at the same time. So you always say, like, teams that are up like 8 games, they got it made in the shade. Well, you know what? The Brewers and the Cubs are perfect examples that it can happen to any team at any time. And I don't think they're in a rebuild mode now. The Cubs, I think they're looking at deal. And they're saying it's going to be a rebuild, but who knows? Kimbrel and Bryant are going to be the trade chips. Javier Baez and Rizzo are going to be free agents along with Bryant, and they're not untouchable. But you think you'd have to keep 1 or 2 of these guys just to keep the fan base content. I think Baez has the most upside going forward, so we'll see what happens there. But there's going to be some players hitting the open market for the Cubs at the end of the year, so you might as well go for it while you can. Now, the Pirates, let's face it, they're not a good team, but they have some talent there. Now, it all depends on what they want to do. Can they get a good return on Adam Frazier? I mean, the guy's a hitting machine. Tyler Anderson's not a bad pitcher. Richard Rodriguez isn't bad at a bullpen as a closer. Left-handed reliever Jason Shreve isn't that bad. And Gregory Polanco, whenever he wakes out of his funk, sometimes he can do some stuff. But it'll be interesting there. In the West, it looks like all 3 teams that are in contention are going to be buyers. The other 2 are going to be sellers. The Rockies are a team to watch, too. And a lot of people are thinking that Trevor Story is going to be gone, and we'll see what happens there. Although General Manager Bill Schmidt for the Rockies is saying that if the right offer doesn't come, then the Rockies can always take the compensatory pick. So sometimes you got to remember that you will get a pick for a player like Story, so you don't have to unload him for nothing at the trade deadline. But they'll have little pieces they can give up. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Hey, Salvatore. Yeah, let's get a Zoom thing going, right? That would be great. We got to get the word out there that we're sincere and we mean business here. We want to get out the word to the people that if you want to just have a friendly fan base, 2 groups and 2 YouTube casts going, it's us. And it'll be fun if that ever happens. But anyway, I digress. So those are the buyers and sellers as we're talking now. I'm not sure who your team is. I'd like to actually see your team go ahead and make the moves. I want to see. I love baseball, period. I don't hate any team. The only thing I'll admit sometimes it gets a little under my skin when the Yankees are winning another pennant and the Mets are floundering in last place. But I do like even the Yankees when they're playing well because it's entertaining baseball for me to watch on a local basis. Even though I have MLB.TV, I'm flooded with Yankee information here. So even the Yankees I don't hate. It's just that sometimes fans can get on my skin when the Yankees are winning and the Mets are struggling. But that's between me and you. Anyway, speaking of the Mets, you thought the whole world was going to collapse on them yesterday, but their turnaround win over the Pirates was much needed Sunday, wasn't it? They found themselves down by 6 runs after the first as all-star starter Taijuan Walker gave up 6 runs in just 1/3 of an inning, 3 of which came, I don't believe what happened either. It was an infield single from Kevin Newman and Walker's ensuing error. It was, I never saw anything like it. Again, that's the beauty of baseball. Even the night before that grand slam, you rarely see something like that. That was like a 1 in 300,000 chance odds of happening. Who knows what the odds were? But anyway, the Mets came clawing back. And here's another name. You never know who's going to do it. Travis Blankenhorn. He got the 3-run homer. And then it was Michael Conforto who delivered the clutch go-ahead 2-run blast the Mets needed to avoid a sweep, finishing off their weekend series with a 7-6 comeback win over the Pirates at PNC Park. Now, a day after New York gave up the walk-off grand slam home run, Dominic Smith led off the top of the ninth inning. Now, the Mets are still trailing here against Richard Rodriguez, who I said may get traded, to set up Conforto, give the Mets their first lead of the day. And Conforto just connected. I mean, Conforto's timing has been so off lately that it was just so good to see Conforto jack it out. And the comeback win made the Mets the third team in the modern era to blow a 6-run lead and lose. Then they erased a 6-run deficit and won the next day. Now, for you baseball historians, the only other teams to pull off such a feat were the Rays, and that was just recently, July 27, 28, 2019, and the Atlanta Braves on July 13, 14, 1997. So if you were watching both games, you were watching part of baseball history, that's for sure. But Taijuan Walker, who looked like he was money in the bank for us, didn't he? When I say us, I mean Met fans. He just didn't have it yesterday. He left after 2/3 of the innings. Oh, my God, I got to sit through this crap. Yeah, that was me. I don't know if it was you, but that was me. I got to sit through this crap. But the amazing thing is, and again, it's the bullpen. Bullpen's always going to do it for you. And it was highlighted by Aaron Loup, who escaped a bases-loaded no-out jam in the 6th inning after allowing 2 singles and hitting a batter. That was the game changer. Now, before we go into Aaron Loup's performance, let me just say that the Mets bullpen held the Pirates scoreless through 8 2/3 innings, allowing 7 hits and just 1 walk in the process. That's amazing. And that's how teams win pennants. Not saying the Mets are going to win the pennants, but it's performances like that that make it a pennant-winning ball club. So, back to Loop's situation, it was bases loaded, no outs, but here is where he really impressed the hell out of me. He proceeded to strike out Adam Frazier, Wilmer Defoe, and Brian Reynolds to keep the Met deficit at 1 run. That was huge. That was one of the best relief performances I've seen. I mean, he made his mess, but he got out of it. And that shows you something about Aaron Loup. And you know what's else showing me something? The Yankees. They've been facing all this adversity, and now they won the big series and won against the Red Sox. And that series was crazy. I didn't even know if they were going to play the series at one point. I had some coffee now. I got to drink some water. I want to dehydrate here, so hold on. I'm not like Sam and Dave. Hold on, I'm coming. I'm standing saying, hold on, I'm drinking. Anyway, the Yankees had to sign 6 players on the injury list due to COVID-19. And we weren't even sure if they were going to play the game or not because they canceled Thursday's game. But the Yankees are glad they're playing now. Gleyber Torres and Rougned Odor homer to support Jamison Tyon's scoreless effort as the shorthanded Yankees celebrated their 3rd straight series win. And they notched a 9-1 victory over the Red Sox on Sunday at Yankee Stadium. Now, Odor's, he was one of these guys that he was at the scrap heap. I didn't even know why the Yankees signed him, but he's been coming through for the Yankees in some key situations this year. Now, let's not, try to sugarcoat this, but the Yankees are facing a 2-week stretch that could define their season. The Bombers bounced back from being blanked in the series opener on Friday to outlast Boston in an eventful rain-shortened contest on Saturday. And they seem to be in control all night on Sunday, improving 7-3 in their last 10 games. It's been a hard week, Yankee manager Aaron Boone said. I'm just really pleased with the level of focus and energy that the guys have come in with each and every day. It's definitely a good win to get over a team that we're chasing. Now, Gleyber Torres, yes, Gleyber Day Torres himself, he's kind of disappeared in the last well, the COVID year and this year, but it's so good to have him, if you're a Yankee fan, to have him back with his power surge. Because let's not forget, 2 years ago, he paced the Yankees with 38 long balls. And he was one of the guys that was a pleasant surprise for the Yankees. So you got to be wondering, is Gleyber Torres the guy he was back 2 years ago, or is this the Gleyber Torres of this year? How about Giancarlo Stanton? He actually had a run-scoring ground down the third inning now. I have some questions about Giancarlo, why they signed him to be the most expensive DH in baseball history when DH is basically one-dimensional players. But when he's in the lineup, Giancarlo can provide a presence. And again, it's not my money, it's the Yankees' money. So we have to see what's going on there. But the Yankees' production yesterday supported Tyone, who proved a 4-0 with a 2.86 ERA over his last 6 starts. And he's allowed 2 earned runs or fewer in 5 of those starts. Now, the last couple of starts, the offense has put a ridiculous amount of runs up there for Tyone. And he's been able to pitch free and easy. And like I said, with Judge, Urshela, and 4 others still on the COVID injury list, these wins were huge for the Yankees, huge. And who's Rylan Lamar? That's the beauty of baseball. You get these guys coming up at it, you don't even know where they're from. And they become instant household names. He was patrolling right field 24 hours after being summoned from Worcester, Mass, where he was playing with the AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre Railway Riders. He took the spot vacated by outfielder Tim Castro, and he even went down. So the bad luck for the Yankee outfield's been continuing. He sustained a knee injury in the first inning on Saturday to Castro. So the Yankees are really hurting as far as outfield depth is concerned. And even Lamar almost got hurt yesterday when he hit the right field wall hard in the 5th inning, pursuing Christian Vasquez's double. Yankees fans had to be saying, what the hell is going on? But he did pick up his first hit in the 5th inning and then worked a walk, stole a base, and scored a run in the 7th. And the All Rail Riders starting outfield also featured Allen and Trey Amburgeri, who departed early with a right hamstring. So the Mets basically have the Yankees basically have a AAA outfield out there. That is amazing. But the Yankees poured it on. They batted around for 4 runs in the 7th, aided by 5 walks. And that provided a cushion for Zach Britton for his first appearance since June 25th at Fenway Park, as well as a low-leverage opportunity for struggling Aroldis Chapman, who really needs to get his act together, doesn't he, Yankee fans? Without a doubt. Without Chapman closing him out, it's going to be tough for the Yankees to make a move. So the good news is the Yankees won 2 or 3 games in successive series against the Mariners, Astros, and Red Sox. And those are teams that you were worried about if you were a Yankee fan before facing them in this stretch. And I think it kind of solidifies the fact that the Yankees may be buyers come the trade deadline. And you got to give the Yankees credit. They could have rolled over, but they did not. They did not. And one team that doesn't need to roll over, and hey, isn't this AL wildcard West going to be amazing? Ohtani, he shook off his derby rust. He was a little bit slow getting out of the gates there, but he cranked out his 34th home run yesterday. That is amazing in itself. He went 2 for 3 with 2 walks and 2 homers in a 7-4 loss to the Mariners on Sunday at Angel Stadium. Now, Ohtani had gone a combined 1 for 10 with 6 strikeouts in his first 2 games after the All-Star break. Yes, even Ohtani is human. There you go. Ohtani is human. Newsflash. But he looked much more comfortable at the plate in the series finale. His 2-run blast to right center with 2 outs in the 9th inning was his major league leading 34th homer of the season. He's also scheduled to make his 14th start on the mound Monday against the A's and expected to be in the lineup. So if you can stay up late here on the East Coast, but you people on the West Coast, that's going to be a beauty. The Angels and A's with Ohtani on the mound. Oh, boy. Oh, yeah. Angel manager Joe Maddon said Ohtani's mechanics were off the last few days, but he worked on having better balance the plate with hitting coach Jeremy Reed. Now, he might have been off a bit mechanically, more in pull modes. That's why I like that. His home run was almost the center. It wasn't from a fatigue perspective as much as a technical perspective. Ohtani struck out in his first at-bat, extending his streak to 5 consecutive strikeouts, though he bounced back by walking in the 3rd and 5th against right-hander Logan Gilbert. So Ohtani is the man. He has such great plate coverage, and man, he can smack that ball, and he can lift it. So I think that is the reason that he's hitting all these home runs. He's just a great hitter. He's disciplined. And like I said, every day in baseball, you never know what's going to happen as far as the record book is concerned, do you? Do you? And Alex Reyes' record capped off a series win for the the Cardinals. And they needed that. And this is one of those reasons why the Cardinals may be buyers. Knocking off the Giants 3 games really made it change their perspective. I mean, we're getting down to the crunch time here with 2 weeks to go. So teams are really going to be thinking about this. And after a 2-win victory over the Giants to lock up the series win, Ray's teammates made sure he knew, aiming his gaze up toward the video board to soak it in what it said. Ray's 24th consecutive save converted to start his career past former Twins closer Troy Hawkins to set a major league record. That is fantastic. For a young pitcher to do that well in relief right off the bat, it's phenomenal. It's really impressive when you think about it. And you got to say he earned it. He's been doing a fantastic job for the Cardinals. Now, here's the thing about the Cardinals. What's been saving them is the bullpen, and Reyes is the major reason why. The Cardinals are 37-0 and leading after 8 innings, and Reyes leads the majors with 38 games finished. Now, if you recall, put on your thinking caps of spring training, the Cardinals were actually going to have him as a starting pitcher. But he has turned into one of the great closers in the game. So it's Cardinals, like I said, in baseball, you never know what's going to develop in the course of the season. And now the Reyes has actually been one of the great relievers in baseball this year. And he's been the leader of the pack Reyes for the Cards. He's got a 1.45 ERA in his first full healthy season in the bigs. With 2 walks on his ledger, he ballooned his walk rate to 18.8%. And that's the highest among qualified relievers. So he really has to tone down the bases on balls. And if he does, who knows what's going to happen. He's still learning on the job, I guess. But the Cardinals still think he's going to be in the rotation. And I say that's something you have to do. If a guy's that talented, he has to be a starter. I've been saying that about Seth Lugo with the Mets, but they don't seem to be listening. Seth Lugo has multi talents as far as his arsenal is concerned. So what are you going to do? Now the injury reports. Speaking of the Mets, Jacob deGrom, Francisco Lindor. deGrom is now on the IL. And Lindor, there's no structural damage with deGrom. I think they just have to rest him. And maybe, I keep saying this in the back of my head, maybe deGrom is just going all out too hard, too much, and just needs to tone it down a bit. Not every pitch has to be 100 miles an hour. I mean, I don't care who you are, that's got to take a wear and tear on your body. Now, Lindor left Friday's game against the Pirates after appearing uncomfortable in a swing in the 5th inning, and the Mets placed him on the 10-day injured list. Now, Mookie Betts has exited the game Saturday against the Rockies, but he was given a day on Sunday, and he should be ready to go for Monday's series against the Giants. Lux came out of Sunday's game 9th inning, grabbing his left hamstring, so we got to wait on that. And Kershaw, who's got left forearm inflammation, was still not playing catch as of Friday. And Corey Seager played in similar games at Camelback Ranch on Friday and Saturday. And no, Roberts had not given an expected date for Seager's return. The rehab process continues. He could return next week's homestand against the Giants and the Rockies. Now, Michael Lorenzen made his season debut, and who forgot about him? But he's a valuable player. He pitched in the 8th inning for moving to the outfield for the 9th and 10th, but then strained his right hamstring while scoring a run the bomb in the 10th. That sucks. And now the Reds plan to place him on the 10-day injured list. Castellanos, who's one of the best bats in baseball this year, was hit by a pitch on the right wrist in the 3rd inning of Friday night's game against the Brewers. Initial x-rays on the injury came back negative. We'll see what happens there. Jazz Chisholm from the Marlins, I should say, was favoring his left arm in invisible pain Sunday afternoon after attempting a diving catch in short right field. He eventually walked off the field under his own power and wanted to go further testing to determine the severity of the injury. Cooper had to come out of the game in the eighth inning after his left elbow and wrist bent awkwardly as he tried to receive a throw at first base on a bunt attempt. Now, Lopez was originally scheduled to start Sunday's game against the Phillies, but he was instead put on the injured list. Remember Lopez, didn't he have like 8 straight strikeouts to start off the game? Something about strikeout. I think they put wear and tear on your arm. Oh, my goodness. And Steven Strasburg actually threw for the Nationals, feels better after throwing 120 feet from the mound on Friday. And the Angels always had the high-priced talent on the IL. Anthony Rendon's left hamstring strain, which kept him out since July 5th, is healing slower than anticipated. And now he is expected to be out of action till early August. And let's not forget that he missed time earlier in the season with a left knee contusion. Now, Mike Trout has progressed to jogging on the field, but is not yet running at full speed. Once he's able to do that, Trout will begin a rehab assignment, and he hasn't played since May 17th. And Justin Upton took batting practice on Thursday with no limitations. Now the Angels deciding whether Upton, who has been out since June 22nd, needs a rehab assignment before being activated. And how about those Yankees? Luis Severino, remember him? I remember the days when people were saying Severino was better than Jacob deGrom. But he's been out of our brains for a while, hasn't he? He's scheduled for a live batting practice on Sunday. He was scheduled, and Boone said Severino will likely go through 2 live BP sessions for being cleared for a rehab assignment. And Timo Castro, one of those emergency fill-ins, he tore his ACL on Saturday's game, and that's just tough to see. And how about Luke Voit? Luke Voit is undergoing a lubricating injection in his left knee and may also have PRP therapy. And there's no timetable for the first baseman's return. He's had a tough go of it. And Todd Frazier, there's no Quinn Frazier, Todd Father, isn't he in the Olympics now? Quinn Frazier's return as an outfielder has no timetable at all. And Devin Williams, a key member of that Brewers bullpen, he was placed on the 10-day injured list prior to Saturday's game because of right elbow discomfort. Remember, he was the rookie of the year last year, and he was phenomenal. And this kid's got some stuff. And the good news for the Giants, they're surprising the baseball world despite these losses to the Cardinals this weekend. Buster Posey's close to coming back. He's very, very close, and that's good to see. And how about Chris Sale? Yes, Chris Sale, another one we have almost forgotten about. He made his much-anticipated first minor league rehab assignment Thursday, and he completed 3 innings for Fort Myers in the Complex League. Sale threw 39 pitches and topped out at 97 miles per hour on his fastball, and now he'll actually be pitching with Double-A Portland on Tuesday. That should be fun. And Jack Flaherty, St. Louis's ace, threw a bullpen session on Friday, and he continues to recover from an oblique strain. He hasn't pitched since May 31st. Oh, my God, you forget all these guys have been hurt. But the Cardinals hope he can start a rehab assignment during the first half of August. Now, the Braves, tough luck Braves, they placed Ian Anderson on a 10-day injured list Friday. That was retroactive Tuesday with right shoulder inflammation. An MRA showed no structural damage, but Anderson won't resume throwing for another 7 to 10 days. Well, I think we covered a lot here, didn't we? And again, I want to thank you guys for all that you're contributing to this. Like I said, if you want to reach out to me, reach out at philstan41@gmail.com. Any tips, comments, criticisms, praises, whatever. And like I said, this is a work in progress. We're going to do one of these every day. I think our target start date is going to be 8:15 now. So we'll be coming on at 8:15 every morning. So get your morning cup of coffee, Joe, and we'll be ready to go. And I want you to watch Baseball Utopian Universe. I think it's the Utopian Report at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, which would be 7 Central. Our good friend Joey Buckholz does that, and then you can just switch over here. A little bit of the fantasy world, great stuff by him. And I just ramble on. And like I said, it's an open forum. and you guys can do whatever you want. Participate. I'll answer your questions, what have you, and we're going to make this fun. Like I said, during the course of the day, I might pop in with other stuff. I'm actually thinking about doing my Mets reports. We're on the podcast here. We'll see how that goes. That's a work in progress. I'll keep you guys posted on that. But until then, enjoy your day. If we don't talk again today, I'll see you tomorrow, 8:15. Take care, guys.